How do I induce labor naturally? I'm nearing my due date or I'm past my due date. This baby isn't here. I have an induction scheduled. They're telling me my baby is large. How do I get my baby to come naturally? How do I avoid an induction?
You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama, hosted by Becca Boving, a PTA, mom of two, and now your go-to pelvic floor coach. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening.
This is so common. These are questions that I'm sure you are asking yourself or you've heard other moms ask all the time. And here is the thing with inductions. They are done all the time and not always for medical necessary reasons. If you are a mom who's sitting here is like, I elected for an induction, this is what I want. Girl, mama, I support you. I support you 1000%. But so often moms are being told that they need to have an induction and they don't know the risks or the benefits, and it's not a medical necessity right now. It's not. These are some things that commonly happen. And I just want to talk about them so that way you can ask those questions to see if this is really what you want and to see if this is really what's right for you. Because a lot of times it's just like, hey, you're having a large baby, we really should get an induction. Or maybe we'll schedule a C-section. Or, hey, you're 40 weeks, couple days, we should probably schedule an induction and get this going. Or, hey, at 39 weeks, we're going to schedule you an induction because we're just... That's the thing. There was one research thing that went out a long time ago that's been debunked and has not been able to be proven again. And so some providers are still doing 39 inductions based off of that poorly done research. Just ask them about it. Look it up yourself. Talk to other providers. There's a ton of information out there. Not telling you to just listen to this podcast and say what I say, but telling you to go out there and get the answers and to ask those questions. So that way, if you are getting an induction or you are scheduled an induction, you feel comfortable and confident with that decision. A lot of times inductions lead to other medical procedures, other medical things, like just more medications, emergency C-sections, things like that. And all of these things have risks and benefits to them. And so knowing what they are, knowing, is this really what's right for me? And how to ask those questions is important. So many moms within the mama community, they have the Ultimate Mama Bundle. They're in the mama community, which means they have access to me and support. They will always be like, hey, my provider is telling me I should really be pushed for an induction because at like 39 weeks, they want to get me on the schedule. And some of them are just like, I just don't want that. And I know that I don't need to have that because of all of these resources that they have within the community and the bundle. And we talk about it and they're like, yeah, it's just, these are the questions I'm going to ask and I'm going to see what they say. I've had other mamas message me who, again, in the community, and this one mom, she was so fired up. And I was like, that was one of the best responses she probably could have given this provider. They were really pushing her for induction. She's like, I'm not going to have an induction. And they're like, if you're not going to have this induction, your baby could die. Point blank. First off, how are we talking to moms like this? This is not okay. This is not acceptable. Telling moms that their babies are going to die is awful. Let's have some information as to why this could happen. And what they were saying was that this could happen, but the risks and the percentages of it actually happening were like 1% or less. Like literally, it was awful. And she was just like, I don't want an induction. I don't want that to take place. These are the things that I want. And they were like, well, and they just were not very kind. And this wasn't her provider that she was working with. This was someone who had called her. There was this big, long story, right? And so she's like, so you're telling me if I go into labor, not on my induction date, you're just going to let me have my baby on the street? Like there's not going to be room for me? Because they made a comment about how it's baby boom. There's a lot of babies being born and this and that. And she's like, so if I don't schedule, you're just going to like allow me to have my baby out here on the street. Like that's basically what you're telling me. And they're like, well, no. She's like, well, then I'm just going to have my baby when my baby comes. These are just some things that are told. And it drives me insane when moms are told that something harmful could happen for their baby, but they have no risk factors for that actually happening. It's just something that could happen that doesn't, but the mom and the baby show no signs or symptoms of this happening at all. And that's where these questions come into play. How necessary is this? What's the likelihood this could happen? What if I choose to wait? If you can reschedule your induction, it's probably not medical necessity. These are some things to ask. being feared into something. And I don't want to be the one that's giving you fear. Okay. I don't. I'm just giving you some information so you can take it, ask your provider, look up some research, do that on your own so that way you feel comfortable and confident with it. This is something that I help through the Ultimate Mama Bundle, through labor coaching, which is coming up as well. And there's lots, I work with other medical professionals within the birth field so that way you can have all different types of points of view and resources to help support you, from labor delivery nurses to just so many other amazing experts who help moms give birth to babies every day. Okay. That's my little rampage. The truth is, large baby is not an excuse for an induction. Okay. One, these measurements can be off by like 1 to 2 pounds. If we're talking about an 8, 9, 10 pound baby, it is off by 1 to 2 pounds. What? They're saying your baby could be 9 pounds and they come out 7 pounds. Okay. I had a mom who had a C-section because they told her baby was 11 pounds. That baby came out like 7 pounds, 2 ounces, I believe. She was so mad. So just know that these measurements can be off. Also know that you can give birth to a large baby with the right preparation, education, and support, because your pelvis isn't a fixed entity. It's not something that's stationary. It's not something that, like, your pelvis moves and can create space at each step of the way. Like, the top of your pelvis opens, the mid pelvis, the outlet of your pelvis. So by doing the right preparation and having the right education, you can give birth to a large baby. I've had mamas in the mama community give birth up to 11-pound babies with no tearing. Because they prepared, they knew what to do, and they were able to do that. So I'm not saying, oh, you have a large baby and now you're 40 weeks and 2 days or I don't know, probably 39 weeks or something like that. Because if your baby's large and they're trying to induce you, you're probably not to 40 weeks. I'm not telling you to just do it on the fly. But with the right education and support and just preparation for this, you can give birth to large babies with no tearing or with very minimal tearing. Your pelvis is mobile. If they told you your pelvis is too small, you can't actually determine if your pelvis is too small unless you're in active labor as a 10 centimeters dilated, because of the hormones that are released at that point in time and because of what your pelvis can do at that time. It moves far more when you are 10 centimeters dilated because of the hormones and things like that than it does when you are just sitting here, not in labor, not in any form of things. Your pelvis isn't a fixed entity. It moves. You can give birth to large babies. I've had moms I had a mom who had shoulder dystocia with their first baby. And she chose not to, she chose to give birth the way she wanted to with her second. And she had an 11-pound baby with no tearing with her second baby. No shoulder dystocia. Again, I'm not telling you to do these things on the fly because these happen to other moms. I'm just telling you to prepare your body and learn how to push the right way and when to push and how to help have your baby be in a better position and just a better, smoother birth experience. Now, this doesn't mean that you do all of the quote unquote right things and everything goes absolutely perfect, but it does create a smoother, better experience. There are things during birth that you can control that can create a better experience for you. Again, if you want an induction, I will support you. I support your birth decision, but I want you to know all the risks and benefits. So being able to ask your provider questions and being able to know, how are they inducing you? So many moms don't even know what they're going to do to be induced. Are you going to are you dilated at all? Are you going straight to Pitocin? Are they breaking water? Are you having your cervix going to be softened first? Like, there's so many different things that good questions to ask. Are they going to put you on a high dose of Pitocin? Can they start you on a low dose of Pitocin? Like, there's just all these things that can take place that even if you are induced, you can have a better induction experience by just knowing a little bit more and knowing what to ask and creating a birth plan. Birth plans aren't like, this is how it's going to go. This is what it's going to be each step of the way. A birth plan is, if things go this way, this is what I want. And if things go this way, this is what I want. So that way you still have that control even when things don't feel like they're in control, even when things don't go as you planned or hoped, right? So it's like having different plans in place so that way you're still having that birth experience that you want. I hope that makes sense. I hope that gives you some hope into this. Giving birth shouldn't be fearful. It shouldn't be something that you're pushed into. Your body can truly do this, but I think there's so much fear and anxiety and stress surrounding birth that it's really challenging to feel comfortable and confident when it comes to giving birth. There's also this like mental aspect that once you hit your due date, that's your end date. Like that's it. But the average baby comes at 40 weeks, 5 days without medical intervention. That's average. That means some moms go to 41 weeks and over 41 weeks. That means some moms go a little bit before 40 weeks. That's just the average is 40 weeks and 5 days. So being over your due date, there are concerns, so that can be checked by your provider to ensure that you and your baby are still safe after your due date. And if those are still good and your results are still good, you don't have to have an induction yet. If those aren't good, then obviously that's different. But there's things that go into play. Just being over your due date isn't a reason. Just having a large baby isn't enough of a reason. Being able to feel educated and empowered about birth in general is so important. So often moms are like, I get 5 minutes with my provider. I can't even ask questions. I don't even know what to ask. Like, I don't even know what to expect at my next appointment or at my birth. And my provider's probably not even going to be at my birth because they're not on call. And, there's all of these factors that go into your birth. But the one factor that remains the same is this is your birth. This is what you are going to remember. This is every year on their birthday. We should be celebrating you too. You brought them into this world. You did all the hard work. You deserve to look back on that and be like, I did that. That was me. I did that. Which I think you should feel that way regardless of how your birth goes. But as someone who's also had a very traumatic birth experience, I had PTSD with my son on his first birthday. It was not a beautiful, all rainbows and shiny day. I had so much stress and anxiety on his birthday. And at his birthday party. It was really hard. And with my second, it was completely different. I had that moment of like, I did that. I mean, the first words out of my mouth were so inappropriate. It was like, I effing did that. And so being able to have that feeling and that experience that so many moms talk about, it can happen. You can have that experience. You can feel that way. And it's also okay if you don't have that birth experience. If you've had a traumatic experience or one that leaves you feeling like that, I remember everything, and that was just not great. That was not good at all. And I struggled to connect with my baby. I struggled to have that for a few days or a few weeks. I think we don't talk enough about that side of things, that sometimes moms feel ashamed or maybe just feel like something is wrong with you or something like in that regard. After my first birth, I didn't connect with my son right away. I didn't have that feeling of like, oh my gosh, that was so worth it. Like the nurses, even in my labor and birth, were like, once this baby's in your arms, it's going to be all worth it. But I didn't have that moment. And I kept waiting for that moment, and it never came. Finally, like 2 or 3 weeks after our son was born, I was sitting on the couch with my husband, and I just looked at him and I was like, he looks like a cow. And he just kind of looked at me like, I hope so. That's been his name forever. Last 3 weeks. Like, what's wrong with you, lady? He didn't say that, but you know what I mean? He had this, and I was realizing that it was like this trauma surrounding the birth that I wasn't able to have that immediate connection. And it took me a while to even just have that. And I want moms to be able to feel comfortable and confident in their births the first time, or if you're getting prepared for your second or third, I want you to be able to experience that. That is why I created Pelvic Floor Mama. That is why the Ultimate Mama Bundle exists, and it has pelvic power labor done right in there. That's your labor prep birth course. All these links are in the show notes or on my website. Labor coaching kicks off May 2026. So if you're listening to this as this is launched, May 2026, if you grab the Ultimate Mama Bundle, you can be added into labor coaching for free. This is 4 coaching calls, group coaching calls, where we dive into everything labor and birth, birth plans. I bring in other professionals to talk to you as well, so that way you can really feel comfortable and confident. Partner support, addressing fear, how to manage pain, all of the things regarding birth that I think every mom should be able to know. And then the side of things that I don't get to see because I'm not in the birth room with moms, I bring other people in so that way they can share their perspective and their side of things too, as they've helped so many moms bring babies into this world. Together, we try to make this experience for you so you can have that smoother, more confident birth experience, so it can also lead to an easier recovery. And so we can help you prepare for recovery. Labor coaching now has an aspect where we prepare for your postpartum experience. We prepare for that. Because so often we're preparing for your birth, but we don't prepare you for what's to come. And then you're like, oh, is this normal? Is this right? And you're now talking about yourself and your baby, and you're up Googling, and you're not getting sleep. And so by preparing for both, it really helps create a smoother experience for you, for everybody, for you, for your baby, for that transition, for you to be able to enjoy those moments as much as you can. So all of those links for that in the show notes. I would love for you to grab the Ultimate Mama Bundle, join the labor coaching with us. If this is past May 2026 and you're listening to this, grab the Ultimate Mama Bundle. You still have weekly coaching calls and support. It's step-by-step of support. It's not just programs that you're going to grab and try to finish. A lot of these programs you don't even finish. They're tailored to you with that added support and guidance with me and some other moms in the community. So grab that below, and I will be seeing you very soon. Remember, you grew this baby, mama. You can give birth to this baby. You have got this. Sending you love.
Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.